NurtureShock by Poe Bronson and Ashley Merriman. Chapter 3 Why White Parents Don't Talk About Race. A presentation and analysis by Emily Alvey. Our children may grow up hearing phrases from us such as, everyone is equal and God made all of us. Have you heard yourself explaining these sentiments to your children? Parents who make these generalities may think that they are doing the right thing by their children and their community. After all, isn't ensuring and making sure that our kids know that we are all human and inside all of us are exactly the same the right and just thing to do? We live in an era where it is safe to say that we are seeing more and more awareness surrounding diversity. A large percentage of our population are welcoming to multiculturalism and embracing of diversity. As a society, we are so focused on discouraging racial divide that we go as far as to fail to point out the positive differences or make positive statements regarding a person's race for fear of creating a racial construct. Birgit Vittrup's dissertation research suggests that generalities, such as everyone is equal, may be having a different effect on our children than we think. Even the most multiculturally inclusive parents have immense difficulty discussing specifics in regard to race and tend to revert back to these generalities. Parents are trying to raise their children colorblind, but we underestimate our children. Children can see the differences between those of different ethnicities. They do not, as once believed, only see racial differences once it is pointed out to them. Differences in skin color are no different to a child than differences in gender, weight, hair color, or eye color. They are plainly visible. You may be saying to yourself, but my children are in a culturally diverse school and are frequently exposed to children of other ethnicities. Simply exposing your children to multicultural environments without specific discussion is too subtle a message and has little effect on developing positive racial attitudes. Even children's television shows depicting multicultural harmony was found to have too subtle a message. Lack of discussion about specifics when it comes to racial differences tends to leave kids confused and forces them to draw up their own conclusions. Talking with our children openly and specifically regarding interracial friendship is the only method to have shown signs of improving racial attitudes. Interestingly enough, a study from the Journal of Marriage and Family found that only 45% of 17,000 parents interviewed talked to their kids about race, and non-white families were 3 times more likely to have talked to their children about race than white families. Why is talking to our kids about race so important? Developing kids are prone to in-group favoritism. As children develop, they are in a constant process of categorizing the world around them. By talking to our children about race, we give them the information they need to make proper conclusions while they are developing and learning about racial differences. How can I use this information as a social worker? Well, it could help me to be more culturally informed and culturally sensitive in my practice. I could also share this information with parents who show a concern about how to raise their kids to be accepting of diversity. Finally, I can take forth with me the knowledge that kids aren't colorblind, so attempting to teach them to live in a colorblind society is counterproductive.
Created using Powtoon.